Hello and welcome to the channel, or welcome back. Today we're just going to jump right in per usual, and I'm going to start by reading this little message that is on the back side of the guidebook for the oracle that I'm going to be reading for you guys later in the reading. It says, "The moon doesn't only shine when it's whole. It can show up with a single sliver of itself and still light an entire night sky. Show up, sing, shine. The world needs you as you are." Also, I want to say I apologize if you can hear any of the construction noises that are going on outside. I don't know why it is so loud this morning. And they started early too. So, with this reading, I'm seeing right now that, again, this is a collective that is wanting some type of new start, and it may be in your sights, within your reach right now, because it's showing up as a block. Maybe you just don't know exactly how to get started, what the first step should be. Again, this is the past couple of readings I've done. I've been getting energies of overthinking, of a lot of ruminating, and not so much action, which the action is what we need to be taking, right? But if you have been relating to some of the past readings, maybe you're a little hesitant because you feel that your past actions haven't yielded the results that you want, right? So there's a little bit of hesitation there. I'm seeing that, again, we have a lot of strict rules, a lot around like sciences, writing, and creativity, the arts and things like that are coming up. So this could even just be generally a way that you want to express yourself that you may feel some hesitancy towards. It doesn't, have to be a kind of big project that you want to create. This could even be like a conversation that you want to have. For some of you, I'm even seeing a version of yourself that you want to be, that there's a lot of rigidity around, and a lot of, I'm even seeing like some harshness around if there are people that maybe you keep in your circle that have certain opinions and ideas about the way that you should be living your life and showing up, that may be in a little bit of conflict that's keeping you from even attempting to kind of really like put the first foot out there on this new path. It looks like, and again, in the mess, there's some impatience here as well. I feel like there are some things that you are not exactly wanting to look at, right? There are things that you wish could maybe be like, I'm hearing quick fixes. You're looking for kind of shortcuts, or maybe you're watching videos on how to like do things. um I'm just feeling like quickly. You feel like there is maybe some lost time that needs to be made up for. I'm feeling like a lot of that energy, but it feels like it's been that for a long time. Where if you could like sit and zoom out, you'd be like, oh, I've been in this space of feeling like I needed to rush for like months. And it's like, if you had been able to breathe through that time, like, you have more than enough time. You don't need to be so. I'm just see like I'm seeing a frantic kind of like someone looking like left, right, left, right, left, right. You can breathe and focus and trust that there isn't something else that's going to pop up that is going to demand your attention. You are okay to rest and focus on what it is that you need to focus on. I am seeing as well, and you might be an air sign or have a lot of that energy in you. You're maybe just the type of person that really doesn't have a lot of patience. There is something here that it feels like it's just not okay to kind of rest. There's a lot of like tension around the earth energy that's showing up in this reading that requires a little bit more grounded, slow, consistent, persistent effort, even if you aren't immediately seeing results. It looks like also, if you've been maybe in the same place for some time, like geographically, if like you were in the same physical location, or if the kind of places that you've been seem the same, again, that is like, I feel like you're just wait, like, what is taking so long? um this is creating a sense of doubt around your ability to not only provide for yourself but for others. For some of you, I'm seeing there may be children involved, right? If you are a single mother, that is popping up. There's a little bit of, it feels like the foundation is shaky, that you feel like maybe you aren't always sure that you'll be able to deliver. But I'm not seeing in your past that there has been any way that you haven't been able to deliver. What I'm seeing in your past that is kind of that this belief that you are maybe incapable is rooted in, is more that like there have been opportunities that haven't fully worked out. There have been I'm even seeing maybe like some partnerships, and this could be, it spans the relationship spectrum, whether this is romantic or not. There have been relationships that you have had to walk away from that you didn't necessarily want to walk away from. I'm just seeing there have been a lot of investments, and I'm hearing specifically even ventures. So maybe if this is more financially related for you, there have been like some business ventures that have just failed. I'm getting a lot of promises were made, and maybe just the people that you were working with at that time, as well meaning as they were, simply just did not have the resources either within them or without. You know what I mean? If we're talking more finances, or if we're talking like internally, the ability to really follow through on these types of things, it just didn't pan out, right? So there's a lot of hesitancy because we do this thing where we want to learn, right, from our past experiences, but oftentimes the perceived failures really don't do us as much good as we think. There's a lot more hesitancy than like taking it and being like, okay, well, now I have this kind of radar for what to avoid, and now it's like you're expecting the things that you need to avoid everywhere, and so it's making it a lot more difficult to find the pathway through, right? Because we're so focused on, well, this is where it went wrong in the past, and I'm so convinced that it's going to pop up again, and like you're kind of gearing up for some kind of fight that like may never even come this go around. So I'm seeing again a lot of hesitancy around a new beginning. We have an ace and the fool here. Um it looks like moving forward you are going to find the kinds of, I'm seeing connections, I'm seeing being able to create partnerships where you will be able to have a much more grounded type of interaction. And I'm seeing truly like there's going to be someone who comes in with a kind of knowledge and information that will be very beneficial to you. A note that I'm seeing, because again, you're represented right now as the King of Swords. So what I want to say, and what I want to say very gently, is that you are the type of person who, for different reasons, there's a lot of hesitancy around accepting help. I think you were hard pressed. I don't know if you ever even will ask for help unless it's like truly something that you cannot do, and that's like few and far between. But I think there are times when, especially when someone who shares a similar, if it's an interest or if it's someone in your career field who is more knowledgeable in one way, or maybe even has, a practice that is more efficient, that will help you get to whatever end goal faster, right? I'm seeing there's a kind of hesitancy, like a locking up of receiving that type of help and information, even when it's someone who has like the type of knowledge that will really benefit you. It's almost like there's a kind of insecurity or a shadow around being seen as not knowing. Maybe there's some trauma there around like uh, uh, schooling might not have been that great for you, but there's a lot of like, I'm just seeing someone lock up when they become subconsciously aware that there is someone who knows more than them, that's like in the room with them, that's sharing space with them. There's like this kind of imposter syndrome that if someone knows more than you or knows something that you don't, that you will be like perceived as some type of fraud or failure. And we need to get outside of that, because you always have something more to learn. There will always be someone with some information that you don't have, or a suggestion or an idea of how to do something better or more efficient or whatever, what have you. What you are looking for consciously, I think the vision that you have for yourself is one of independence and self-sufficiency, and that is marvelous, and that's wonderful and absolutely attainable, and you should want that. You don't want to be having these codependent relationships. At the same time, and the balance that I'm seeing we need to kind of work on striking is being able to accept help, being able to understand that at certain points of the journey, we will need it. And that it's not something that will forever remain, that you won't always need help. You know what I mean? But it's just being able to take the lesson in the moment, take it with grace, and take it in stride, and understand that people are also not looking down on you. People just as excited as you get when you share information with someone and you feel like you're actually, there's a type of, I think, connection that happens when you really sit down with someone and are able to engage with them intellectually in a way that's really stimulating and fulfilling for you. People feel the same way. It's not that people are looking at you like, oh, this idiot, and I have to teach them. And no, no, no. It's not that. It really is not that. Um, there's something that I recommend for people who are maybe like struggling with accepting help, which is funny because I do this myself, which is to say, like if when you go volunteer, if you go like to a soup kitchen and genuinely go and you feed people all day, you begin to understand that when you go to someone in need and you are that vulnerable and you are, at a particularly low point where maybe you cannot provide for yourself, what comes out in the type of empathy that is present in people that have access to the energy of empathy, it's never one that's rooted in judgment. It's never one where they feel like, oh, well, you should. And I get that there are probably, again, people around you that have very strict ideas about where you should be in your life and that your life is not adding up. So that's where these thought processes come from for you, right? Where it's really difficult for you to reach out in that way because there is that judgment. Even when you go to them, if they don't say it directly, subconsciously you're picking up on these things. And at a point, if it becomes your own belief system, it makes it really difficult. So just becoming a little bit more aware of the way that you truly view yourself when you're in need. Because that will block out some of the people that are meant to enter into your life and help you. Let us go to our oracle card for the day. It's number 4. It's a little fox with a crown looking at a butterfly, and it says practice curiosity. Let's get there in the guidebook. It says, in painful times, in happy times, in sad, confusing, and lonely times, choose curiosity over judgment. When you judge a situation, you shrink to fit the proportions of criticism. When you remain curious about what's happening and why, what the motives are, and what the hidden factors may be, you open a space for peace and possibility. Judgment is a prison. Curiosity is an adventure. Now is the time to choose the attitude that will create the most freedom and space for you to move forward. And I agree with that 110%. And I understand that there are times when we are more open and able to do that. There are more times, or there are some times when we are more willing to do that than others. And there are some times when we are more ready to do that than others. It's really great if you can become so familiar with yourself that you are able to discern between having a want and being ready. There are lots of things that we want for ourselves, that we envision for ourselves, and sometimes they do perfectly align with what we are ready to take on and to tackle and see about ourselves and grow. And there are other times when there are other lessons that have to come first before we're ready for that want to be actualized, and we can integrate whatever kind of lesson that we are trying to learn in that moment. All right. You're doing great. Keep going. Do not let the past impact you any more than it informs who you are today. Let it inspire you. Let it bring you more courage that you were able to, go out on one path and maybe it didn't work out and you still have the ability to choose another one. That's a strength, to not give up, to still want to be able to chart a new course after one didn't work out. Right? All right. I appreciate you guys for being here. If the reading resonated, drop a like or a comment. I greatly, greatly appreciate them. And I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye.